Murkrow is back in fashion. Haven't seen it too much. And we do see Ceruledge, which is going to be interesting. You are going to go ahead and see Sean on the left, Aaron on the right. One thing that Aaron told us about his team is very interesting. 3 choice items, all 3. Scarf is on Great Tusk, Specs is on Flutter Mane, and the Corviknight's got the choice band. But Sean's on the left, you're going to see Chiang, Tatsugiri, Ceruledge, Flutter Mane, Dondozo, and Glumora. Aaron on the right with Chi-Yu, Murkrow, Corviknight, Flutter Mane, Great Tusk, and Bluebonnet. This is going to be fun. I mean, Ceruledge has kind of found a little niche in its market here. I don't think it's going to come in on this matchup, as we're saying. Tatsugiri, Dondozo, as always, very good. Glumora, biggest Glumora fan here. I've used it literally every format except this one. That might change though. But it's so versatile. You have the Assault Vest set, but this one specifically is Mortal Spin Focus Sash with usually Spike and Shield and then 2 attacks. In this case, it's Power Jump. So yeah, lots of options there. Stall, and then basically you have Flutter for the attack, you have Glumora for the stall, and then you have Tatsugiri, Dondozo to just overpower, as well as with those leftovers recover a bit. This Tatsugiri specific, or sorry, this Dondozo specifically Terra Grass, which we've seen quite a bit of. You can see some Terra Blast Terra Grass that's out here. Yeah, it's been interesting. Well, let's get right into the first match. So I think here the leads, this format more than ever, leads are super important. You're going to see Murkrow, Chi-Yu lead on Aaron's side, but Sean leads Glumora as well, which, there you go. So, this is an interesting one, because on one hand, we have 2 very high special attackers, Flutter Mane and Chi-Yu. Its Chi-Yu is not going to outspeed. This Flutter Mane is going to get that booster energy out with speed. And now in an interesting spot. Glumora is actually, you know, it's a few options here. Because they got Earth Power and Power Gem, both of which are pretty good on Chi-Yu, but of course there's that Mortal Spin. Chi-Yu is most likely, I don't assume it would switch out. It's not in the favorable spot right now. And then we're going to see Tailwind. That is the favorable spot. However, I still think that both Flutter Mane and Glumora are going to be... Okay, we'll go Flutter Mane. It does pick up that KO, which a lot of people seem to be surprised about. Yeah, I was actually surprised about too. Flutter Mane's relatively good when it comes to special defense, but that HP is low enough to make sure Chi gets rid of it. Power Jump coming out on the Glumora slot. That's going to go for the Murkrow. It does pick up the knockout on Murkrow as well, but Murkrow did its job to set up the Tailwind, and now you can kind of sweep. However, there is Tatsugiri. Those are coming out, so if you don't play right, you are in trouble. Especially because only looks like one thing here can really beat that. Yeah, that's going to be well, let's Great Tusk first. Great Tusk is not the best option against Tatsugiri. Great Tusk has choice scarf as well, so pretty easy. I think we're going to see Sean swap out with Glumora, kind of use it as a late game here. Could stay in Dondozo and protect when Glumora attacks on the Great Tusk and gets rid of it, but it is going to go for a KO here. Like, I look at KO here, especially if it's it's kind of one of those mind games. Do you attack with Glumora, or do you switch into your Tatsugiri instead of that Dondozo, or is Aaron going to protect any his Chi-Yu while Great Tusk goes for an earthquake? Like, you know, with the there's like so many different options. You call that Rock Slide even. So, and then in that case, you get your poison spikes out. You know, you can also Mortal Spin. I don't know. I think that's probably the wisest play. I'm not going to protect here. I think that's probably smart because Glumora may not KO here. Comes down to really what this Great Tusk does. It goes for the Headlong Rush, but it targets on the Dondozo slot, so that means this Glumora is going to wait for at least a turn and get some move out of it. A Dark Pulse does connect with Glumora. It gets it around to half health. She's going to lose some HP. You know, yeah, I was right. Glumora is bulky enough to just take that Power Jump. It's not necessarily the most bulky, but with that Focus Sash, it does allow it to pretty much survive as long as it gets 2 hits. It has to get 2 hits. The question was, is that Great Tusk going to hit it? And it did not. Flutter Mane coming out on Aaron's side. I think Sean's in a really good spot here because at this point you are able to basically just stall that Tatsugiri Dondozo. But you do have to watch out for Flutter Mane. Yeah, the thing is, Aaron's got the speed, right? But Dondozo is very, very bulky. And can one-hit KO that Flutter Mane? Especially because we know that Flutter Mane is choice specs. So the question is, does Flutter Mane and Great Tusk combat knockout Dondozo? We know it's locked on the Headlong Rush, so then if you pick up the knockout, you pick up the knockout. Like, that's it. So, and then you can obviously recover. So the question is, can 3 hits, depending on who has hit, because both of these are going to outspeed this Dondozo and Tatsugiri combo that's coming out now And you're going to probably get, I'm guessing we're going to see Moonblast, Headlong Rush, and then another Moonblast. Is that enough to take the hits here? I believe this Dondozo is also terroring Grass-Rolling Grass, which is quite smart, because you are going to resist that Headlong Rush. And there it is, yep. So, going on with Moonblasts. The hard part with Dondozo is, it is not the most specially defensive, and it is Terra Fairy Flutter Mane, so it's definitely a Moonblast coming out. Yeah, this is interesting. How many Moonblasts can Dondozo take is basically the question. Starting off with a Headlong Rush. Oh, it did not tear to grass. Oh, okay, I thought he saw him click that. I would have probably tear to grass, so you resist that. Oh, but Dazzling Gleam coming out. I guess to hit the Tatsugiri combo with Gomora at the very end. And Dazzling Gleam does around 80. The Wave Crash coming out. That's gonna pick up a KO. Yeah, I think this is Sean's game. He's got 3 Pokemon left. And can only hit 1 at a time. Yeah, and because then at the end too, you could just with that Tatsugiri, you could just click what you wanted and call it a day. I think here, I'm surprised we didn't see that Grass Terra. I may have been a misclick, I don't know. I believe he still has, yeah, he still has a Terra. Yeah. Protect and then the Grass Terra. Because, because obviously things are open team sheets, we know that this Great Tusk is only going to go for ground, and you can resist it. So. Unless he's trying to save that Terra for Gomora late game, but which could be smart too. Because you are 4 times weak to it. I can understand that as well. But I would have just done it to be safe. Now there's the Terra Grass. Okay, yeah. Maybe wait and see if you need Gomora. I understand that. But yeah, no, that's one thing. Terras are super important. Doing it at the right time can just completely change the effect of the game. And I think this format more than ever, we've seen a lot of late game comebacks. And a lot of that has to do with terrestrializing. Like, for example, we've seen a lot of Corviknight, Terra Dragon Corviknight, just boost, bulk up. It's great. A Headlong Rush going to resist that Dondozo, and we know that the Wave Crash is going to pick up the KO here. I think that was actually probably smart to wait on the Grass Terra, see if the Wave Crash will KO you, because you never know how much that Flutter is going to do. But if you're Sean, you're like, okay, that Dazzling Gleam didn't do too much. I am surprised that we didn't see Aaron go for the a Moonblast instead. But yeah, overall, Dondozo going to pick up its own knockout there, but it doesn't matter because Sean still got his 2 Pokemon left to Aaron's 0. And that means Sean picks up the win here. Okay, so if you're Aaron, you're like, okay, well that didn't work. What do I do now? And honestly, I think Brute Bonnet is not a bad choice here. You want to bring it in for later, but it is the only thing that can be Dondozo if it doesn't Terra. If it does Terra, you got Corviknight, Flutter Mane, doesn't really do much. Chiyu, I think maybe saving Chiyu for the back would be nice, but at the same time, and then Dark Pulsing it with Flutter Mane, that might actually be able to do some damage. I'm surprised we're not seeing Chiyu go. It's Life Orb, so it's Dark Pulse Overheat effect. So you never know with that. Honestly, I've been seeing a lot of Terra Blast grasses, which has been quite nice. But the nice thing with Chiyu is if that Dondozo Terras, you do have a way to KO it with that heal. Looks like I think Sean's going just for the same thing. Oh, no, different lead here. I made a mistake. Maybe trying to play the Gomora. Yeah, Flutter lead. Looks like debating on in here. I think if you're Sean, you just bring this. There's not much here. Team Pal doesn't really do much. Yeah, because Flutter can still hit, and especially if you have that tailwind from Murkrow. Just like, and we're going right into it. I don't think Murkrow did much. I think if you sack Murkrow for Brute Bonnet, you're probably in better shape if you're Aaron. Just because you can't hit Dondozo with anything else. I mean, you can Moonblast it from Flutter, but that did 8 damage, and Dondozo is okay. Corviknight, Great Tusk. Okay, Corviknight's also not a bad option. Especially, but the thing with Corviknight is it's Choice Band. So. This is interesting. Really good lead here on Aaron's side, actually, because you can go for an Earthquake right away. Your Flutter is going to be faster here, and potentially it is a Choice Scarf Great Tusk, so the question is, if you're Aaron, do you outspeed that Flutter Mane? If you do, you can go for a Headlong Rush or Earthquake, depending on what you want to go for, right into it, and call it a day. You also have that Terra to Steel, which we may be seeing right now to prevent a Moonblast from knocking out. There it is, yeah. Very smart. And now you can do whatever. I mean, you can go for that spam those Earthquakes. That will knock out that Gomora unless it Terras to Grass, and if it does Terra to Grass, you got yourself a little Brave Bird. With Corviknight here, or even Iron Head, or U-turn. But we're gonna go for, okay, we're gonna see double protect here on Sean's side. Not a bad strategy at all. Earthquake is not gonna do anything this turn except lock Great Tusk onto it. The thing is with that, it doesn't matter. Dondozo, Tatsugiri, it's gonna take an Earthquake, no matter what. And this Corviknight, gonna be immune to the Earthquake, but it's gonna go for the Iron Head, and that's gonna connect with Glamora. Try and pick up that KO with the Focus Sash. Really good lead there for Aaron. The Corviknight's gonna take a little damage thanks to the Spiky Shield. It's not really gonna matter. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we'll switch it. You see the Earthquake coming, you're gonna do. I would actually, what I'm thinking is we're gonna see that. I think we're gonna see Great Tusk swap out here. Again, Brute Bonnet, I was saying, is probably your best bet. Flutter Mane, also a good choice. Issue with Brute Bonnet is a physical attacker and doesn't have much to do if that they do tear it up fire or grass. However, if Sean tears to grass, now your Corviknight's in some Brave Birds, right? So it's one of those matches where it's like, okay, what do I do? You know, because it puts pressure, and especially if you go into that combo, you can't really do much if you're like, you have to pick one to go for if you're Sean, and the other could do a lot. It's one of those mind games. Do you Terra? Do you not Terra? Do you Brave Bird and a Bullet Seed, or do you go for something else? But first things first, Tatsugiri and Dondozo are going to activate that commander. The Earthquake is going to activate, so I didn't no switch out there, which is not bad. Kind of want to keep it alive though for the very end of the game. It does very, very little on Dondozo, and Iron Head does very, very little on Dondozo. Yeah, the choice items are restricting here. Dondozo is actually going to be able to recover everything from that Iron Head. However, you do have the flinch chance, so if you want to go for that, that would be smart. I think this is a good chance to switch. Honestly, this is one of those matches where I'm like, what do you do? You know, I think Great Tusk, I guess you're going to stay in and keep attacking here. Only issue is, what do you do late game for that combo of Glamora and Flutter Mane, which are still at full health? That Earthquake is going to pick up the KO, or come close to picking up the KO. I'm going to imagine it picks up this KO. Not quite. Great Tusk lives it. But that's the physical defense of Great Tusk. And you can't actually go for any Iron Head flinches because you're slower than the Dondozo. That's what happens when you have to say Tatsugiri Dondozo like 7 times in 5 seconds. I think here, yeah, Earthquake. A smart call in there on Sean to get rid of the Corviknight instead, because those Earthquakes are going to do some massive damage. The Wave Crash is going to do damage to itself, but it's also going to pick up that knockout on Corviknight, which kind of smart, because now the Earthquake's going to damage whatever comes out on that other side, would force it into a switch. However, we do know, again, Brute Bonnet I think is the best bet here, because those Bullet Seeds are going to KO. Flutter Mane, not a bad choice either. That doesn't move full power Moonblast. Issue with Flutter Mane though, fortunately here, is choice specs. So if you Earthquake, you sack your own Flutter Mane. And it is also is not able to Terra to Fairy, and if it did, that would have been a KO. So yeah, the Great Tusk switch was inevitable. Flutter, if it goes for a wave, going into Chiyu, I like that actually. I think it's not bad at all. It's really coming down to whether or not this Flutter Dondozo protects. Okay, now I think I'd feel a lot more confident, because Earthquake may KO, but you're probably going to protect that Chiyu. I would be surprised if you don't. But the Chiyu's going to do very, very well against Glamora if you partner it with like a Dazzling Gleam. If a Moonblast connects, I think Moonblast KOs. But that was also with a Terra last turn. Yeah, it does KO. That does. Okay. I was like, it's close, but I think because it did about 80 from a Dazzling Gleam Terra. So Dark Pulse leaves Tatsugiri with 1 HP. That's not Focus Sash. That's not Focus Sash at all. That is a Choice Scarf Tatsugiri. Dang. And now it is like speed tie central here, because this Flutter may be, it's a battle of Flutter Mane. Tatsugiri can't really, you gotta protect your Chiyu. Yeah, you gotta protect your Chiyu. Yeah, this is an interesting one, because Chiyu is gonna be the slowest Pokemon on the field here, thanks to that Choice Scarf on Tatsugiri. I'm guessing it's gonna go for Muddy Water. I'd be surprised if it doesn't, because if it locks on Icy Wind's not horrible actually, because it does allow the opposing Flutter Mane here to pick up a KO or be outspeed. And the Terra to Fairy is very smart on Sean's side because you want to remove that ghost weakness that the opposing Fluttermane could have. Okay, Muddy Water. It does connect. Oh, Chi-Yu did not protect. Okay, you know what? That's not horrible of a spot. That's not a horrible position because you do have Great Tusk, which could definitely knock out the Fluttermane. This could be a double knockout. Oh, Aaron's Fluttermane is not going to be fast enough to live it. Okay, so good news, bad news. Good news, you may be able to outspeed the Tatsugiri and pick up a double knockout with Earthquake. Bad news, you now have to face the full power Guamora while it has Earth power, and you are not in a good spot for that. I think this game goes to Sean. I'd be very surprised. Even if Aaron is able to outspeed and pick up the knockout on both Fluttermane and Tatsugiri. Actually, Tatsugiri goes first, so that's gonna pick up KO. No, didn't matter. Yeah, because just Guamora having that Focus Sash is just... It was detrimental because no matter what, you could have knocked out Great Tusk. So it didn't really matter at the end there. But valiant effort for both teams. Tatsugiri Dondozo, I think, is probably one of the most... It's fallen off in usage, but it is probably one of the strongest combos in this format. I mean, so many people struggle to face it because of the lack of grass and electric moves that are in play. Iron Hand's probably being the best. We also saw Brute Bonnet, but it didn't come out. But Brute Bonnet is one that can work too. Yeah, very interesting. Just Tatsugiri Dondozo seems to be dominating a lot right now, and I think that's very interesting. I think it may see a resurgence like it did in Series 1. Obviously, have to watch out for some of the ruins, but specifically Wo-Chen, but even then, it's a good Pokemon. We'll be back with top 4 momentarily, and anything you want to say, Emotional Support Pikachu?